Well, it is your girl, Tamiko Green, coming back at you on the Confidence Igniter podcast. I am so excited about today's show, and I hope that you are equally excited. But let me remind you before I go into this today's episode, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Well, today's episode is titled New Beginnings Await. Reset. I'm going to say it again. New beginnings await reset. Yes, in life, sometimes we have to reset some things. I don't know about you, but every now and then I have to reset my phone because it just does not act right, right? It's either not getting calls, or I can't send out an email, or something has went wrong. And sometimes I have had to reset it. And if it wasn't my phone, it was my password. Every now and then we got to reset those passwords in order to make sure no one is able to capture our data. And if it's not your password, perhaps it's your Wi Fi because you can't get connected. You ain't on demand, right? Because the Wi Fi is down. So you got to reset that Wi Fi password in order to be able to get in. But maybe first you probably need to reboot it. And if it's not that, every now and then those computers, they just go west, right? I always say man made the computer. So, hey, every now and then we got to reset those computers. But however, that's all technology based, right? But in life, in order to have a new beginning, what we have to sometimes reset is our mindset. Our mindset, our attitude, our perspective on life, our focus, our confidence, and sometimes even our self talk. Yes. Because without resetting our mindset, let me tell you, you will just keep circling around with doing the same old thing in life, wondering why I can never get ahead, why I can never get out of the jam I'm in. Because sometimes we have to reset our thinking. It's the old saying that the same thinking that got you into something, in most cases, will not be the same thinking that will get you out of it. So we have to reset our mindset in order to go to the next level in life, in order to have a new beginning. Because let me tell you, every day that you wake up, it's a new day that you can do something different. Your life is truly being reset. Now, you may wake up and do the same thing that you did yesterday. You may wake up and have the same thoughts, wondering how is it, or how can I get to the next level, or what it's going to be like when I walk into the door at my job, or what's going on with my children or my relationship, whatever those thoughts when you wake up. But that's only taking yesterday's issues into today, or into that new day. But every day that you wake up, it's a day that you can start all over again. Now, I'm not saying start over as though you were a baby, but you have an opportunity to live your life different. Let me ask you this. If you had the opportunity to live life over without limits or boundaries, what would you do? I'm going to ask the question again. If you had an opportunity, and I really want you to think about this, to live your life over without limits or boundaries, what would you do? Would you take time out to truly work on whatever that goal or that dream? Would you take time out to build relationships with whether it be family or friends? Would you take time out to just have a moment with yourself and God? Or would you just do the same thing that you're doing right now, especially if it's not what you like? See, I really believe that each of us have an opportunity to live life over, but it will require us to reset some things. It will require us to reset our mindset, to reset our attitude, and to reset our perspective on life, because it's not what happens to you, it's how we see it. See, it's not all of those challenges that come your way, it's how you see it, your perspective on it, and what you're willing to do about it. See, sometimes we find ourselves in different jams in life, and then we go into a spiral. Some of us, we have a pity party. Because see, when life is good, remember there is no pity party, right? We're floating, the boat is moving or the plane is flying or whatever it is. You just living life, and can easily say, I'm living life and seeing great days. But what happens when life shifts? What happens when storm clouds rage? What happens when the new day is not the yesterday that was so good? How do you see that? Because even in the midst of that, you have an opportunity to still rise no matter what. You still can rise because that is a new beginning. Now, and you can say, well, you know what, Tamiko? Well, if it's a challenge, that's not a new beginning. That's a challenge. But no, it's a new beginning because guess what? Normally, with a challenge, that's an opportunity to be stretched, to grow, because you're growing. So when you get to that next level in life, you will be ready to handle that particular challenge. I mean, a lot of times, even for myself, when I'm being challenged, and sometimes I really have to think through it. Like, okay, what do I need to do next? And sometimes next is just a matter of sitting silent, and sometimes next is just a matter of saying, you know what, I got to turn that over to God because I can't deal with that, or show me how to deal with it. And sometimes it's a matter of, once again, resetting yourself to say and look at it and say, you know what, I'm bigger than that. Okay, it's just a storm. This too shall pass. But when we allow ourselves to get stuck in things, not realizing, you know what, let me reset. This is my password. Let me reset. It's my computer. Let me reset. But when it's life, we forget. Take time out and reset. See, sometimes things happen to us because we be moving so fast in life. We be moving and grooving, and we never take time out for ourselves. That in itself requires a reset. Because when you're moving here, doing this and doing that, and you never take time out for yourself, let me tell you something. When life challenges show up, you so drained, you don't even know how to deal with them. You're looking at it from a sleep perspective because you're so tired. How do I know? Because I run here, I run there, I do this, I do that. And sometimes I have to remind myself, slow down. And sometimes you have to remind yourself, slow down, breathe, reset. And then you're able to think things through. Then you're able to see life differently. So in order to have that new beginning, or even see each day as a new beginning, not seeing Monday as it was on Sunday. Sunday is gone. Nothing you can do about that. It's an old saying, you know what? Don't cry about spilled milk. You can't pick it up and put it in the bottle. I don't know anybody that has ever done that, but I'm sure all things is possible. Somebody will figure it out, right? But the thing is, you can't go back to Sunday. All you have is today. I remember talking to my grandson, and one day he had a challenging day at school. It's just 4. And so the following morning, I called and I was speaking to him, and I said, hey, I just want you to know we're a team. And today we're going to have a great day. And he says, well, Grandma, yesterday I didn't have a great day. Yesterday just wasn't good. And I said to him, I said, look, you can't do anything about yesterday, baby. It's gone. All you have is today. So guess what? All we can do is make today better because we can't fix yesterday. So I said, today we're going to have a fantastic day. And he said to me, Grandma, you are right. I'm going to have a fantastic day. Now he's 4 years old, okay? And he went to school, and guess what? He had a fantastic day. What was that? Self-talk. And sometimes we got to change the self-talk. We can't look at all of the mistakes that we made. And I'm not saying just, bypass them, okay, so I can make the same mistake. No, but if you beat yourself up with that mistake, that self-talk is, you know what, look at what I did. This will never, how did I ever get myself in this situation? This should have never happened to me. That's not healthy self-talk. So sometimes we got to reset that. We got to reset the self-talk. And let me tell you, my grandson, every day I call him and I say, you know what? We're going to have a fantastic day. And one day I called him, I said, look, we're going to have a fantastic day. He said, Grandma, okay. Nope, we're not having a fantastic day. We're going to have a perfect day. And I said, wow. So now I speak to him and I said, well, we're going to have a perfect day. And guess what? Every day he goes to school and he has a fantastic day. Why? Because in his head, or a perfect day in his head, you know what? I'm a team. And my grandma is a team. I mean, him and his parents is a team too, but that's he and I conversation. So sometimes you have to encourage yourself, whether it's encouraging yourself to ride out a storm, but ride out knowing that you're going to be victorious. Okay. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself to know that, you know what, you have the ability to have a new beginning. Why? Because every day of your life is a reset. When you go to sleep and you wake up, it's a reset. It's a new beginning awaits you, and it's how you see it. It's how you look at the next day. Now, once again, you can drag yesterday into your new day. For what purpose will it serve? None. None at all. And especially if what you're dragging into that day will cause you to spiral out and have these negative conversations with yourself. Don't do it. Because once again, remember, the question I ask you, if you had the opportunity to live life over without limits or boundaries, my question is, what limits are you putting on yourself? Because even though you can look into the world and you can say, well, they say I can't do, but what do you say? What do you say you can or cannot do? Because you know what? You can always defy the odds. You always, because it's a saying that all things are possible. And I truly believe that. But it comes down to the self-talk. And then are you willing to do some inventory, take some inventory, reevaluating your life? Because in that reevaluation, it helps you to see things different. It helps you to be able to see, okay, do I need to stay in the right lane or do I need to get in the left lane? And sometimes we need to change lanes. I remember talking to someone and they say, you know what, this is the kind of tea we like. And I say, you know what, but sometimes you got to change the brand. Because if that's the kind that you like and that's not serving you, then you got to change the brand. Or maybe you go from tea to coffee. Or maybe you just go from tea to water. Because sometimes we get so caught up into what we like and what we like no longer likes us. So we find ourselves in situations. But my question to you, are you ready to walk into a new beginning? Are you ready to live your life from a different perspective? Are you ready to reset? So that way new doors will open up for you. New doors, new opportunities, and you'll be able to see them. Why? Because you have reset your thinking and it changes things. When we're able to reset our thinking, creating a new reality, then you start living from a different perspective in life. And each and every one of us has that ability. But it comes down to, am I willing to take time out and reevaluate some things? Once again, I'm doing it right now because in life, if we never take time out to reevaluate where we are, how would you ever get to where you're going? I mean, it's like going on a long journey. How would you ever get to where you're going? You have to take time out and reevaluate, assess a situation, because without assessing the situation, you don't know what turns or what changes to make. You don't know if you're still on the right highway or should you be on a different highway in life. And if so, how do you get there? By resetting. Be willing to let go of some things. Be willing to say to yourself, you know what, this no longer serves me. I got to let that go in order to step into that new beginning. Let me tell you something. It's like having a packed garage, okay? I don't do packed garages. But at any rate, I know there are people that have like a packed garage or a packed closet. It doesn't have to be your garage. But if you have too much stuff in your closet or in your garage, guess what? If you don't have no more space, nothing gets in until you take something out. And that's just like our life. If we want something different in life, we want to live life from a different perspective. We want to start walking into that new beginning that is truly awaiting you. Then we have to make decisions to say, you know what, I gotta let this go, I gotta let that go. I just gotta do something different. And sometimes saying that to yourself or making those decisions is sometimes hard. But then it comes down to, what do you really want? I mean, do you really want a new beginning? I know I do. I know I do. So that's why I'm working on things, taking inventory, looking at the list. Okay, I gotta move that. It can't go into the new beginning with me because it needs to stay where it's at. And not only does, you look at your life and you start checking things out, but sometimes, I was gonna say checking things off, but sometimes even the company we keep, we can no longer keep the company that we keep because it's not going to work where we're going. Everybody can't go because some people will truly slow you down. Some people will talk you out of living life in that new beginning. What are you talking about, new beginning? New beginning for what? Don't listen to that person. Let me tell you something. Don't listen to that person because guess what? You have the ability to do, be whatever it is that you truly desire or to be in life. But it's going to require something from you. I heard somebody say everybody want to be a millionaire or a billionaire, but some people don't want to make the sacrifice. Some people don't want to take a look at where they are and say, you know what, I got to make some changes in order to get to where I want to go. I got to reset. Some people are not willing to do that. Are you one of those that are? I know I am. Join me on this journey. Let's step into that new beginning today, together. Time to reset. Well, this has been today's episode. I hope that it really touched your heart and I hope it make you think. I hope it allows you the opportunity to sit down and think about where it is that you want to go and leave yesterday in the past, because you cannot take yesterday with you. You lived it. You done whatever you could do, and whatever you wanted didn't do. Oh well, today is a new day. Today is your new beginning. It awaits you. Time to reset. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your week, and until we meet again, take care. Bye bye.